much for agreeing to talk to us today.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, mate, I have had the absolute privilege of being able to sit down this morning and take a listen to this album, and I've got to say, congratulations on such a fantastic rock album.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So, I was wondering if we could go right back to the start and talk about how you and Adrian first met, because I guess that's where the roots of this album started.
Yeah, and I've known Adrian now, I keep saying like 10 years. That's what it feels like. It could be 8, it could be 11, but let's say somewhere around 10 years. And being in LA, you just run into people, and you meet people, and one thing leads to another. And he's got a house here in LA, and so whenever he was in town, we'd end up getting together. And, our wives hit it off, so, we'd go out for dinner and just basically hang out, talk about music. And they would have little get-togethers, usually around the holidays, and, a lot of musicians would show up, so we'd go there and hang out and ultimately end up in their studio room jamming. And one of these times, one of the more recent times, we had a real fun jam session, and there were some great guys there playing with us. And someone said, "Oh, you and Adrian should try and write something together." And so we did. And the first thing I remember doing was the song "Running." Adrian came in with that riff, that heavy tuned-down riff, and I, on the spot, had an idea for what became a chorus. And we threw things back and forth. Before you know it, we had something we liked. And then here we are today. We went off and made a record. So it happened in a very natural way over the course of time. It wasn't like someone said, "Hey, I'm going to put you guys together and go do this and go do that." And I think because it didn't happen like that, I think that's what makes it so special, is that it was a real instinct kind of collaboration, take your time kind of vibe, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And there's a really natural feel to this album as well. I was thinking that when I was listening to it, it doesn't feel overproduced. In fact, a lot of it feels like you're listening to a jam session. Is that how some of the tracks actually came about?
Well, one of them did. I can tell you that story. There's a song on there, the lead track, "Taking My Chances." That song came together when he showed up with a riff. That was Adrian's riff. And I heard that and I thought, man, that needs to be a song. So let's try something here, something different. I'm going to jump behind the drums, and you play with me, and I'm going to record it. And so basically that song, and that's the only one actually that was written like this, where we jammed it. Because, when I hear the word jam session, in my mind, I think chaos, because I've never been to a jam session that didn't sound like, at some point, like a train wreck. But this time on that, we went in there and we did jam that riff back and forth. And I remember saying, "Look, I'm going to play with you on the riff, and then I'm going to do some other stuff, and then try to follow me, and then we'll always come back to the riff." And so that's what we did, and I recorded it. So some of that, the result of that is actually on the record. So some of the drumming, some of the guitar riffs, we kept them. But then we went back and orchestrated things and wrote a chorus and a bridge and all that sort of stuff. But, we really didn't. That idea could be a song like a riff, that would become a song, or it would be a melody, or maybe a
Both such prolific songwriters. What was that like working with someone else that was also such an amazing songwriter, and how did you guys go about piecing the lyrics together as well?
Well, I think the fact that both of us come from a point of, the song is the most important thing. So in other words, different guys have different, ideas and how they approach things. But for us, it was all about the song, and so, because without a song, you got nothing to play. So that was our focus, and that kind of went through every thread of what we were doing. We never got into a thing of worrying about, who's going to play what or that sort of thing, unless there was a reason for it, as far as, hey, we got a song that exists, now let's figure out what we're going to do with it. But, oftentimes it would just be dictated by, casually saying, hey, I've got an idea, let me try something. Or, hey, I got this idea for a melody for a verse, what do you think? And then, I can remember Adrian wrote a verse for one of the songs, and that led me to an idea for a pre-chorus, playing off of his words. And so then I would, go with that, and then, we'd maybe get stuck somewhere in the middle of the chorus and then throw ideas back and forth and work our way out. So, it was almost like a tennis match, like a volley,
Yeah, yeah.
Back and forth, back and forth.
And you actually went and recorded this in the Turks and Caicos Islands. Tell us a little bit about why you decided to go there to work, and what is it like there, because it sounds beautiful.
Yeah, well, it's the Caribbean, so, if you watch Johnny Depp and Pirates of the Caribbean, it's like that kind of stuff, and except they don't have all those crazy pirates running around. And it was really beautiful, I would wake up in the morning, go for a swim, and then from there I'd go to the studio and work, and then, we'd go for dinner that night and wrap it up, and then the next day it would start over again. So it was a very relaxed, flow that we had. But it was their idea. They go down there a lot. I had never been there before, and so I was excited when they said, "Oh, let's go down, do the record down Turks and Caicos." And I went online, was Googling it and all that stuff, seeing what it was all about. Hopefully I can go back again, make another record.
Yeah, definitely. You also brought in some special guests as well with Nico and Tal. So tell us a little bit about why you brought in those guys and what you feel they brought to the album as well.
Well, at one point we had this song, Solar Fire. It's kind of an up-tempo, more, aggressive kind of rocker. And Adrian just kind of threw it out there. What if we ask, Nico to play on that song? And naturally I was all about it. I thought that was a great idea. And so, he said yes, and I think, really did an amazing job, added a lot of energy and life to the track. And then at that point I thought, well, I guess, let's see, let me call my guy in here. So Tal Bergman's a guy that I've been playing with for a long time, on and off. And so he played on a couple songs, and, it was very casual, just suggestion, and it seemed to make sense. But a lot of these things, when we were working on them, they'd start out, I'd kind of go behind the drums and play like a basic track, or maybe even sometimes just play 4 bars and make a loop out of it, and then we would work off of that. And then, I could go back and change some things here and there. So the only real reason I ended up being playing drums on there is just because that's how the process was. In order to get the stuff to come to life, rather than use a machine, I'd go in, play something, and then, in the end of the day, we'd listen back and say, oh, right, it's pretty good. Well, I don't want to mess with that. And now we've got, a bass on there and 3 guitar tracks and vocals, and, I don't want to go work backwards. So it ended up working.
Awesome. Well, mate, I know we are running out of time very quickly, but just before I go, I'd love to ask, what are the plans now for you guys for 2021? Like, are you hoping at some stage that you might be able to do some shows?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, that's it. I mean, when we did this, we thought, hey, let's release it in 2021, in March or April, which thankfully we were on point. We've got that. But we also wanted to get out and do some playing. And so, obviously, we can't do that right now. But the plan would be, once things open up, figure out a window when we can get up on stage and play this live. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, mate, thank you so much for chatting to us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an honor. And hopefully we do get to see you guys play live when everything opens back up again.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. And thanks for the interest, and thanks for the conversation.
No problem at all, mate. You have a great day.
Cheers. Bye.
See ya. Bye.